The Grand Canyon sees over 4 million visitors annually. But back in 1986, one grandfather attempted something most wouldn't dare, taking a 6 and 8-year-old on a grueling 18-mile round trip hike to the canyon floor and back.
What fascinates me about this story is the sheer ambition of it. Most adults wouldn't attempt that kind of elevation change. We're talking about a 6,000-foot vertical climb with elementary school kids.
Well, the preparation that went into it was incredible. This grandfather, who worked for Southern Bell, had scouted the canyon twice during business trips. He saw young hikers pressed against the walls as mules passed by and thought, what if I brought my grandsons here?
That must have been quite the conversation with their mother in Houston. How did he convince her to let him take such young children on such an ambitious trek?
He jokes in his journal about having to sign promises in blood, but what's interesting is that the real challenges started way before the big hike. On their test run, the 6-year-old Corey was already complaining about tired legs after just 30 minutes.
Oh man. And then there's that moment with the mules. The little one tries to make friends and ends up getting his pants grabbed. His scream apparently echoed all the way to the North Rim, 21 miles away.
That's right. And speaking of those mules, here's something most people don't know. The suspension bridge they crossed was built in 1928 with all materials brought down by mule and the main support cables carried down by hand by Havasupai Indians. Before that bridge, hikers had to swim across the Colorado River.
Well, that puts things in perspective. And the temperature changes they faced were extreme. From 105 degrees in Phoenix to 45 degrees at the rim. That's like hiking through 2 different seasons in one day.
The descent down Kaibab Trail was particularly treacherous. Modern hiking statistics show that park rangers rescue about 250 people annually from the inner canyon, with most incidents occurring during summer ascents. Exactly what these three were attempting.
The way they organized themselves, though, making the 6-year-old the official guide who had to be called Mr. Guide, that's such a brilliant way to keep a child engaged during an arduous journey.
You know what really gets me? The grandfather's honesty about his limitations. He had recent hernia surgery and couldn't carry Corey when he was struggling. So instead, he had to pull himself hand over hand up the trail while other hikers gave them disapproving looks.
That final ascent must have been brutal. 8 hours of climbing with a crying 6-year-old and disapproving strangers. Modern hiking guides recommend taking 3 days for what they did in 2.
However, here's the thing about pushing limits. Studies show that challenging experiences in childhood, especially those in nature, correlate with increased resilience and problem-solving abilities later in life. These boys were climbing their way toward personal growth.
And then nature delivers that perfect ending. Their first ever snowfall at the Grand Canyon. Like some cosmic reward for their perseverance.
The grandfather's journal ends with this beautiful reflection about seeing himself and his father in these boys, about legacy and connection. Research shows that strong grandparent relationships can enhance children's emotional stability and social competence.
Well, that makes sense. Grandparents can push boundaries in ways parents sometimes can't. They possess a unique combination of wisdom and perspective that enables them to undertake such ambitious adventures.
And decades later, these boys, now grown men, have this incredibly detailed record of a pivotal moment when their grandfather helped them discover their strength. That's the real power of this story. It's not just about conquering the Grand Canyon, it's about the bonds forged in those challenging moments.